Hate to see it botched? Here's the best bits, a Botching It Up podcast short clip.
The rest of this Raw, Ken Shamrock basically is going to help Vince find her. No one else is coming to Vince's aid. Shane has got some problems with The Rock because Rock is turning face slowly. And Shane basically says, I don't give a fuck. Basically, over the next couple of weeks, it becomes very apparent that Vince loves his daughter more than his son.
And it also becomes very apparent that Shane couldn't give a toss about his sister.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the whole story arc we're going to play into in a minute.
I feel like they did pretty well at showing how much of a fucked up family the McMahons are, really.
They are very
a little note about Shamrock here. Shamrock, throughout the duration of this feud, and obviously tonight as well, I think came across as really putting the work in. Like he looked like a beast. He looked hard as nails. He comes out with some great lines. Like he says he's going to find the Undertaker, rip his leg off, and beat it out of him. What he was beating out of him, or what with, I'm not sure. But yeah, no. But I can see why commentary played off Shamrock as a dumbass. They did it quite a lot. JR was pretty brutal to him, but I feel like in any other era, especially now, Shamrock really had the chops to easily become a world champion. And he feels like he puts just as much effort into his MMA persona and him being like animalistic as Brock Lesnar does.
And I really love the dynamic between him and Vince. It really felt like as Vince and Shane were separating, it felt like Ken Shamrock was becoming the son Vince never had.
Yeah, and I also liked that because there was another layer to that, which is what I was talking about just now, that the commentary team were playing into the fact that Shamrock was a bit stupid. Mm-hmm. So Vince was using Shamrock, and Shamrock saw like a really deep personal connection with Vince, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
So the rest of this show, Shamrock has a match with Gangrel, and then he gets a bloodbath after the match. But in the bloodbath, basically he catches on to Christian, and when the lights come up, he's got Christian in the ankle lock, and Christian tells Shamrock where Stephanie has been hidden, and he just sprints out of the arena to go find her. Now, you mentioned this already, that he's covered in blood and she's covered in ash and it looks dodgy, but I just wanted to add, as he's running backstage, he's shouting Stephanie, and there is a stagehand or whatever just stood on the corner, and Shamrock goes, "Where's Stephanie?" And he's like, "I think around there." So Vince has the entire staff of this arena looking for Stephanie, and this one guy is right by her the whole time.
Oh, I love it.
Anyway,
definitely
yeah, definitely. That was a mistake, I think. So he brings her back to Stephanie, and like they're all faces now, and they're just going home, and then they're happily ever after.
This was April the 26th, 1999, by the way.
So the Stooges tell Vince to call the cops. Vince says he wants to do it Taker's way. He's brought everything with him tonight that Taker has asked for, which we find out later is like deeds to the company and shit. And that he's gonna meet him in like the back of the parking garage and have a trade-off for Stephanie for power of the company. But then Taker phones Vince halfway through the show and says he wants Stone Cold to do it. Whoa, this is some deep shit. Here we go. Austin has a promo in the ring just about Rock, nothing about this. And Vince comes out and pleads Austin for his help. He says, "This isn't about business, this is about my daughter." And then Stone Cold is being really smug and tells him, "Tell me that Vince McMahon needs Stone Cold's help." And Vince says everything he has to say. He keeps apologizing. He's like begging. And then Steve Austin still just says, "I don't give a shit," and flips the bird.
Yeah, so given what is to come, Austin saying no to McMahon here both generates interest in the Stephanie storyline further, but it also makes Austin's help later an even bigger sort of face move.
Yeah, I mean, and if that didn't happen, like I would have thought at this point, Stone Cold's the biggest piece of shit alive.
Yeah, definitely. But it just adds to generate a bigger pop, really. At the end, because of what they'd seen earlier in the night, the crowd were screaming Austin, Austin, Austin during the whole ritual thing. So they purposely set that up, and I thought that was another great piece of little work that they did on purpose. Especially having Big Show and I think it was somebody else come out and say,
And
Shamrock say, "Come on, that's the guy's daughter," and Austin's like, "Nah, I don't care."
Yeah, and every time you see that, you're thinking like, okay, this is a bit different now. This isn't Vince. This is like a teenage girl, and Stone Cold doesn't, the baddest man on the planet, doesn't want to help. But like you said, it's like building to something bigger, which I feel like is something that they don't do now. They don't tease these little things to have a bigger climax.
Yeah, I feel like at this point they also knew that Vince was going to be the higher power. I feel like this.
You think?
Yeah, I think this is the turning point where, like, halfway through the Stephanie abduction storyline, where they started to piece it together and realize that they didn't have anybody else, and Vince would be perfect for it, and it'd lead straight back into Austin. It'd do a full cycle.
So after the main event, Vince is backstage and he's waiting to hand the briefcase over, but that's not what Taker wanted. No, he doesn't show up. Instead, the Ministry drags Stephanie through a corridor. Taker strokes her face really weirdly because you got to keep it rapey.
They're in like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles warehouse, aren't they?
Huh?
They're in like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles style warehouse.
No, they come out to the arena.
Oh, they're in like a disbanded warehouse at some point, and Paul Bearer's holding a book. Because I even wrote it down. It's called Ministerium Ex Archibus.
Okay.
And it's like a big purple book with nice glittering gold type font.
Because you got to keep it fabulous.
So let's go on to the heinous stuff. This is heinous. This
stuff. So Stephanie is brought out to the ring and she's strapped to a Taker crucifix that's just resting on the ropes. Oh yeah, this is the book you're on about. Paul Bearer's got the book that he's about to read, like the
sacrificial whatever. Satanist rites, the Ministerium Ex Archibus.
So this is the unholy matrimony. Undertaker is going to marry Stephanie, and this came out of the blue. I wasn't expecting this. I don't think the crowd were expecting this to happen.
No, this was announced as they were doing it.
Yeah, we all thought like she's going to be sacrificed again or something, and then like, nope, he's going to marry her, which is super weird. Ken Shamrock comes out, tries to make the save, but the acolytes beat him up. Big Show comes out, does a little bit better. And then finally we get Stone Cold come out and put a stop to the whole thing.
Just a little bit there. Paul Bearer says after the unholy union thing, Paul Bearer says to Taker, "Do you allow her to bear your offspring?"
It's just...
And he goes...
This is messed up. It's so messed up.
Yes. And she's screaming, "No!" This was a bit where, to me, I didn't mind it as much. It got a couple of chuckles out of me because it had gone full farce. Like, it had almost like flipped a switch from what we were seeing 2 or 3 weeks ago. It had gone full ridiculous stupidity. Paul Bearer carrying a little purple, nicely bound, pretty little book. It's just... I quite enjoyed this whole thing.
Paul Bearer keeping it fabulous. I love it.
Yeah.
But what was great is he says you can now kiss the bride, and then the glass shatters, and the crowd just absolutely roars.
I feel like that glass shattering is one of the biggest appeals of the Stone Cold Steve Austin character, and I don't think he would have ever have gotten pops as big as that without that glass. Honestly,
because it's
a signal before the music.
It's just telling you like now to cheer.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
Austin's out, beats up Stephanie, beats up Taker. No, he doesn't beat up Stephanie. Austin's out, beats up Taker, saves Stephanie. Stephanie hugs Vince. Stephanie hugs.
Stephanie embraces Austin, and he's like creeped out by it. He doesn't like embrace her back. He's like really doesn't want her on him at all. And then he
looks a bit frigid here. Full episode of Power Rangers. Next.
All right, all right. Vince and Austin share a moment of like respect. They nod and like I don't think they shake hands, do they? But
No, they stare at each other, and Austin's like, "Well, it wasn't about you," and McMahon's like, "Yeah, thanks anyway." But they do it with their eyes.
Like, share, and subscribe to keep it botched up, brother.